Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Julie, and I will be today's presenter for the launch ceremony. On behalf of the organizing team, I am truly honored to welcome you to the official launch of the International Committee of Countering Extremist and Hate Speech, the ICCEHS. It is a profound privilege to see so many of you here with us today, joining from over 52 countries around the world. Whether you are experts, policymakers, academics, media professionals, or engaged citizens, your presence reflects a shared commitment to building a more respectful, inclusive, and resilient global dialogue. At a time when extreme rhetoric and hate speech are spreading across borders, threatening peace and undermining social cohesion, the mission of ICCEHS has never been more urgent or more necessary. This commitment was established with the clear and unwavering conviction that strategic cooperation, ethical communication, and shared global responsibility are fundamental in addressing these growing challenges. Today's ceremony is not merely the inauguration of a new committee. It is the beginning of a global call to action, an open invitation to stand together against division and hostility, and to promote values of dignity, respect, and human solidarity. Over the next 2 hours, we will share with you the vision, the priorities, and the exceptional leadership team behind this initiative. We are deeply grateful for your participation in this important moment, and we look forward to your continuing engagement as we embark on this journey together. Let's begin. To begin this launching ceremony, it is my pleasure to introduce the visionary behind this establishment of this committee, someone who has dedicated the past 6 months to shaping this initiative, gathering experts and advocates from around the world and working tirelessly to bring this vision to life. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Nidal Shouker, the Executive Board Director, ICCEHS. Dr. Nidal, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Julie. Your Excellencies, honorable guests, dear friends and colleagues, it is with deep gratitude and heartfelt appreciation that I welcome you to the official launch of the International Committee Encountering Extremist and Hate Speech. Thank you for joining us today. Your presence reflects a shared commitment to the universal values of dignity, respect, and peaceful coexistence, values more essential today than ever before. I want to sincerely thank our dedicated team who have worked tirelessly over the past 6 months to bring this initiative to life. Their dedication, passion, and belief in our mission have made this day possible. To each of you, our partners, our advisors, and supporters, thank you for believing in us. Thank you for standing with us. Your support empowers us to pursue a bold and urgent goal: to make the world a safer, more human place by confronting the growing threat of hate speech and extremist rhetoric. I extend a special appreciation to our nearly 200 supporting members from over 52 countries, including more than 20 legislators. Your engagement gives this initiative global reach and credibility. I also wish to express my sincere thanks to the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean and to its Secretary General, His Excellency Ambassador Sergio Piazzi, for their patronage of this launch. Thank you, Ambassador Piazzi, for your support and vision. We look forward to working closely with you and PAM. The Creation of ICCEHS is not symbolic. It's a strategic necessity. Across the globe, we are witnessing an alarming rise in hate speech, radical ideologies, and incitement to violence. These threats are not confined by geography. They are global. They spread across borders, across languages, across platforms. And all too often, extremism begins with words, with a speech, a narrative, a spark of hate that spreads like fire. That's why at ICCEHS, we are committed to confronting these threats at their root. Our work is anchored in what we call the Golden Triangle: tolerance, dialogue, and peace. We promote tolerance because it is the most fundamental human virtue. We foster dialogue because coexistence is impossible without it. And we strive for peace because peace is what all people and all generations deserve. At ICCEHS, we take a positive and a proactive approach rather than reacting with polarization or censorship. We promote a culture of ethical communication and inclusion. We focus on what unites us. We seek long-term solutions through education, responsible leadership, and cooperation. Because true change does not come through fear or force. It comes through understanding, values, and vision. Let me briefly share our 3 core programs with you. First, the International Communication Pact, a multilateral initiative promoting a global charter for responsible, ethical public discourse. Second, the Abrahamic Coexistence Program, a unique platform uniting voices from the Abrahamic faiths to build mutual respect and religious understanding. And third, our II Ethical Standards Initiative, a forward-looking project that explores how artificial intelligence and digital algorithms affect the spread of hate speech online. We aim to help ensure that technology serves humanity, not harm it. Dear friends, this committee is more than a structure. It's a global call to action. It's an invitation to connect, to collaborate, to confront one of the greatest threats to our shared humanity. Together, we can shape a future where hate does not divide us, and where dialogue, dignity, and responsibility bring us closer. Today, we begin a new chapter together. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your support. We look forward to building this future with all of you in these months and years to come. Thank you. Thank you so much again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nidal, for the inspiring words and for your leadership. Our next speaker is another cornerstone of this initiative, someone whose dedication and international engagement has been essential in giving this committee a truly global voice. He has worked with great determination to help spread the message of ICCEHS across continents. Please welcome the Honorable Gennaro Migliori, Director of the Advisory Board of ICCEHS. Honorable Gennaro, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Julie. It's an honor for me to be present. Dear friends, dear ladies and gentlemen, Excellency, to be present to the ceremony of, I don't know if it is possible because I don't see. Okay, to be present to the inauguration ceremony of our committee, ICCEHS. Today we are to firmly stand for a choice, as Nidal said. The choice not to remain silent, because silence in the face of hatred is always a word of complicity. Words are never neutral. They can welcome or reject. They can heal or wound. They can save or destroy. We are here to reaffirm a decision that is above all an act of civilization, to say not to hatred, not to discrimination, and not to extremism. We do so in an era where words have an amplified power, spark a fire, and the speech can become the fuse for violence or recruitment into terrorism. This is why the committee, the International Committee Countering Extremists and Hate Speech, was born to disarm words before armed words harm people. This committee is an initiative that aims to promote society free from racist, discriminatory, and violent language. A society where human dignity is respected in every word, every gesture, every public or private discourse. Words are weapons, can be weapons. Disarming them is the first step to prevent violence. We know this from history. Every conflict is preceded by language that prepares the mind and heart for hatred. The Shoah did begin at Auschwitz, but with words that dehumanized. The genocide in Rwanda was preceded by months of radio propaganda that's called the Tutsi cockroach. And today we say hate speech spreading across the internet, on social media, in rallies, in streets, and we get used to it. That is the greatest danger. Pope Francis left us a profound moral legacy, a constant call to mercy, fraternity, and the fight against the throwaway culture. He reminds us with powerful clarity, and I quote, "Every form of hatred and violence is born from an idea that separates, that excludes, that denies the humanity of the other. And again, where dialogue grows, hatred dies." But it is not just a spiritual matter. It is a civil, educational, and political responsibility. In this sense, we are guided by the vision of a pope, another pope, Leo XIII, that at the end of the 19th century warned, and I quote again, "Nothing is more contrary to true peace than hatred among peoples. Hatred is the seed of wars, while universal fraternity is the only guarantee of peace." That is why we believe in interreligious and intercultural dialogue as a true instrument of peace, where faiths speaks to one another, cultures meet, and fears dissolve. That is not an utopia, it is a concrete path. And today, we have to follow people that say only interreligious and intercultural dialogue, people like the new Pope, Pope Leo XIV. The only interreligious and intercultural dialogue can restore peace to a fragmented world. Those who sow division with words prepare the ground for violence. These words are our compass. We want to ground our action in three pillars: memory, responsibility, and commitment. Memory, because remembering past is the only antidote to their return. Responsibility, because those with public visibility, the media, politicians, influencers, have the duty not to sow hatred. Commitment, because true change does not come from a committee alone, but from a community. This is why we are launching today a national and international campaign involving television, radio, digital platform, political parties, educational and religious institutions. At the center of this campaign will be a powerful emblem, the ethical label free from hate speech, a symbolic but demanding mark awarded to those who, in their daily work, refuse all form of hate and commit to respectful and constructive language. We ask that this mark not remain a mere symbol, but a concrete commitment in every communication, every public intervention, every space, because freedom is never an alibi for hatred. On the contrary, it is a most powerful antidote. This label will be a visible sign of an ethical choice by journalists, parliamentarians, religious leaders, teachers, artists. We want it to become a symbol of moral integrity, recognized and shared. Because, and we repeat this forcefully, words can become weapons. Disarming them is the first step towards peace. And now, more than ever, we need a civil, cultural, and spiritual resistance against the hatred that creeps into our conversation, our posts, our headlines, our career louder. We are here to say enough. Enough of hatred disguised as opinion. Enough of contempt masked as satire. Enough of the silent complicity that leaves space for violence. We are here to build bridges, not walls, to disarm wars before wars are ends, because violence never arises from nothing. It begins with a discourse that prepares it, that justifies an idea that dehumanizes. Our message is clear. Our committee wants to be one of these bridges, and the bridge between cultures, between religions, between generations. We firmly believe that interreligious and intercultural dialogue is the most powerful tool for peace. Speaking to understand, knowing to respect, because where dialogue grows, hatred dies. Today, we issue an appeal to institutions, school, university, media, religious communities, and citizens of all ages. Let us unite it to disarm the words of hatred. Let us to do through education, through culture, through civil courage. We want to promote a network that monitors, educates, documents, but above all, we want to be an example, because the battle for human dignity is won with the censorship, but with the courage to choose different words, words that unite instead of divide, words that embrace instead of incite. Let's do this with the courage of truth, with the strength of dialogue, with the example of fraternity, because peace is built every day, beginning with the way we speak. Thank you all for your support and participation.
Thank you, Honorable Gennaro, for your powerful remarks and continued support. Now, it is my honor to introduce some of the outstanding members of the ICCEHS team who bring unique expertise and regional perspectives to our global mission. From Belgium, Dr. Brahim Leitos, Head of Countering Extremism. From Ukraine and the Vatican, Dr. Taras Dzubensky, Special Advisor for Abrahamic Dialogue. From Uruguay, Ms. Karen Barrios, Regional Coordinator for South America. Each of these individuals play a key role in shaping the strategy, impact, and outreach of ICCEHS, and we are proud to have them with us today. Dr. Brahim, would you like to say some words?
Thank you, Julie. Well, it's an honor also for me as a responsibility to have this responsibility as
Dr. Brahim, we've lost you. We will come back to you. Hopefully you can figure out the internet connection. Let's move on to Dr. Taras. Dr. Taras, can you share some words with us?
Yes, of course. Hello, everybody. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here. It's an exciting opportunity. The launch of this committee today, it's so much needed as we see the world is plunging to wars and conflicts. And for the past 15 or 20 even years, I've been engaged working with the Abrahamic faiths. We work together to bring about peace, to bring about understanding. And what I've noticed is that today, statistically, there is more than 70% of the world's population that identifies with religion or spirituality. That's why the role of religion becomes so important. And religion is also important because religions are the sources of values, of inspiration and hope, which is so much needed in these dark times. And what I also noticed working with Abrahamic faiths is that interreligious dialogue can become an effective way to promote inclusive narratives in our societies, so we don't exclude others, but we include them. Another reason why interreligious dialogue is so important is because it's also an effective tool and instrument to counter hate speech and extremism. And this is what our committee and our organization aims to do. And I really look forward to the next decades, working together with people who are committed to making this society as peaceful, as flourishing, and as free as possible. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Taras. And Ms. Karen Barrios, would you like to share some words with us? You are on mute. Dr. Karen, you're on mute.
Hi. So thank you, Julie. I'm from Uruguay, but I live in Catalonia. And I'm from Catalonia, so good afternoon, everyone. Bona tarda a tots i a totes les persones que ens acompanyen arreu del món. Muy buenas tardes a todos y todas los que nos acompañan desde Latinoamérica y demás partes del mundo. Vivimos momentos gravísimos como humanidad, donde los derechos y libertades que dábamos por adquiridos día tras día se van desdibujando cada vez que presenciamos un acto racista que queda impune. Cada vez que un grupo social determinado normaliza una conducta de odio o discriminación de la índole que sea, asistimos impávidos a deportaciones masivas de inmigrantes y violaciones a tratados internacionales, limpiezas étnicas y genocidios, y pareciera que el reloj del tiempo nos ha llevado a un viaje al pasado. Estamos retrocediendo como colectivo humano. Es importante que las organizaciones políticas, el tejido asociativo y los movimientos sociales cumplan un papel protagonista en el reclamo de esos derechos que fueron obtenidos a lo largo de la historia gracias a la lucha y la vida misma de muchas personas. Pero individualmente todos podemos ser sujetos de cambio desde nuestros lugares de acción, fomentando el diálogo, la conciencia, la tolerancia y sobre todo nutriéndonos de argumentación que procede de algo tan simple como la verdad, que es la clave para desmontar, en definitiva, los famosos discursos de odio que tanto daño están haciendo al conjunto de la sociedad. El desafío es enorme, pero nosotros somos más y tenemos más a decir. Invitamos a todos a sumarse a esta iniciativa. Thank you for your participation.
Each of these individuals play a key role in shaping the strategy, impact, and outreach of ICCEHS, and we are proud to have them with us today. And now we are going to move forward to our recorded time of the launch. We are going to start with His Excellency Sergio Piazzi. Under the esteemed patronage of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean, we are honored to begin this distinguished segment with His Excellency Ambassador Sergio Piazzi, Secretary General of PAM, Ambassador Piazzi's leadership and commitment to multilateral dialogue are foundational to the global mission we champion here today.
The Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean is an international organization and a platform for political dialogue and parliamentary cooperation in Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf regions. Founded in 2025, the Assembly has today 35 member and associate countries and several partner states. Our strategic work is carried out in cooperation with the national parliament and other international assemblies and regional international organizations. PAM can count on an important network of university, research centers, and global experts. Your meeting today is extremely important for us. I'm particularly pleased to announce our high patronage on the occasion of the launch of your initiative, a very important theme to us. Your commitment on countering extremism and hate speech, you address one of the key issues which are a priority for us. Your committee addresses an issue of great strategic importance to which we are committed. Hate speech and extreme political polarization contribute to lowering the level of public debate and fuel dangerous radicalization, extreme violence, and even terrorist recruitment. In increasingly divided societies, democratic resilience is deeply undermined, as is mutual trust between human communities and states. In short, esteemed colleagues, we need to reflect on the global context. The geopolitical landscape, not only in the Euro-Mediterranean area, is particularly delicate phase, plagued by growing unpredictability. The geopolitics of the third millennium confront with constant emergencies, the reality of a fragmented world, the interrelation of crisis, war, the impact between opportunities and risks, the unstoppable technological revolution. Furthermore, massive deregulation in every field run counter to the need of multilateral rules and principle, I would say, of political governance. Hate speech and hate-inducing actions within a framework of disinformation, deepfake, and cyber attacks that are increasingly artificial intelligence driven contribute to generating confusion, fear, and the exclusion of the weakest, and least informed people from participation in democratic decision-making processes. In certain cases, as reported during the recent electoral campaign in France, the action conducted by Russian agents aimed at instigating clashes and fear between the people of Arab descent and the Jewish community by marking the residences of the latter with the David cross. This was aimed at hate, violence, even blood. Luckily, the French police arrested all those concerns. Rights and freedom are under threat, including through uncovered processes. One very important issue that needed to be addressed clearly is the refusal of large social media platforms to verify sensitive content published on their site. Clear global rules are needed through strategic public-private partnerships. PAM has undertaken a comprehensive research project analyzing these strategies. The PAM report, entitled Resilience of Democratic Systems in Relation to the Misuse of Artificial Intelligence and Other Emerging Technology, is currently undergoing a peer review. In the spirit of the new United Nations Pact for the Future, PAM is working toward an information ecosystem that promotes respect for human rights and helps to strengthen mutual respect and trust between the people of different cultural and religious backgrounds. This is crucial, and together with the major digital literacy campaign, is the first concrete step for change. Every day, we use parliamentary diplomacy as an extraordinary opportunity to regenerate substantive dialogue in favor of coexistence, justice, security, and development. It is about building together a path of peace, mutual understanding, and trust. Change starts with each one of us. A few days ago, on 12 May, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV said to the media representatives who gathered in the Vatican, I repeat to you today the invitation made by Pope Francis. Let us disarm communication of all prejudice and resentment, fanaticism and even hatred. Let us free it from aggression. We do not need loud, forceful communication, but rather communication that is capable of listening and of gathering the voices of the weak who have no voice. Let us disarm words, and we will disarm the world. Dear colleagues, the words of the Holy Father, aimed at communication experts, but which concern us all deeply and affected our interactions, are particularly important. I hope in our differences, this word may represent the beginning of an important and meaningful common endeavors, and I wish all the best for your very important initiative. Thank you.
Mr. Kwame McPherson is live with us today. We are delighted to welcome Mr. Kwame, an award-winning author from Jamaica and recipient of the 2023 Commonwealth Short Story Prize. His literary voice, rooted in Caribbean culture and universal human values, is a powerful reminder of the role that storytelling plays in bridging divides, healing communities, and confronting hate through creativity. The floor is yours, Mr. Kwame.
Thank you, Julie. Good morning, where I'm at. It's morning. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Yes, I will share with you. About the responsible word. Now, responsible word, the power we hold. Words are not just ink on paper or pixels on a screen. They are choices. Choices have consequences. As an award-winning writer, short story writer, I have spent years obsessing over words, revising, deleting, rethinking one sentence for days. But beyond the craft, what I've come to realize is this. Every word we write is a responsibility. Today, I want to talk about what it means to wield that power responsibly. First, the writer's burden. In storytelling, we create worlds. Characters come to life. Cultures are shaped, identities reflected or distorted. When I write a story about a young girl surviving trauma or a man wrestling with regret, I am not just telling a story. I'm echoing someone's story. Fiction doesn't excuse harm. Whether it's stereotyping, romanticizing violence, or silencing certain perspectives, irresponsibility in words has real-world effects. The pen isn't just mightier than the sword, it's subtler and often more dangerous. The ripple effect. Words don't stay on the page. A short story I wrote once about a displaced child was used by an NGO in their trauma healing workshops. That was never my plan, but it reminded me you never know who's reading. On the flip side, a poorly chosen word can reinforce stigma, normalize hate, diminish the truth. The responsible word is the one that asks, who does this hurt? Who does this heal? Writing with integrity. So how do we become responsible writers? Truth over trend, writing about marginalized communities, do the research, consult, don't assume. Precision over provocation. Shock has its place, but not at the expense of nuance or dignity. Empathy over ego. The goal isn't to sound clever, it's to connect, reflect, and respect. We need to ask ourselves constantly, am I writing from a place of understanding or from a pedestal? So a call to writers, call to everyone here about extremism, about hate, about what can be conjured up from a word. Responsible writing doesn't mean being timid. It means being deliberate. Tell the bold stories. Write the hard truth, but own the weight of our words. Because in this age of viral sound bites and performative outrage, the truly brave act is responsibility. And in closing, stories shape culture. Culture shapes the world, and it all begins with a word. As storytellers or purveyors of the word, we are architects of thought. We can liberate or limit, heal or harm, all through the words we choose. So let's write not just with skill, but with conscience. Thank you. My name is Kwame McPherson, the winner of the Commonwealth Short Story Prize 2023, content creator, ghostwriter, book mentor, and coach. Thank you. I'm really happy to be a part of this wonderful movement.
Thank you, Kwame. That was great. We now invite you to hear the words of Her Excellency Nancy Khadouri, member of the Shura Council in the Kingdom of Bahrain, a trailblazer in interfaith dialogue and human rights. Her Excellency Khadouri offers a perspective grounded in both legislative experience and a deep commitment to cultural understanding.
Congratulations to the International Committee on Countering Extremist and Hate Speech on its official launch today. I feel very proud to be among the 150 supporting members from over 50 countries, including 20 legislators. It is indeed a noble mission as our world faces challenges to eliminate extremist and hate speech. We are all looking forward to the event programs that lie ahead, which will contribute to building awareness as to the importance of practicing peaceful coexistence, celebrating each other's cultures, standing in solidarity to promote intercultural dialogue that will foster understanding and respect between different cultures and religions, educating others about the dangers of hate speech, its harmful effects, and addressing the root causes of radicalization is important for global peace. The International Committee on Countering Extremist and Hate Speech is wished great success with its noble mission. Thank you.
And now we will hear from Honorable Nasur Mazrui. We welcome the Honorable Nasur, Minister of Health of Zanzibar. His leadership in health and social development brings a unique and vital voice to the conversation around the societal impact of extremist discourse and the need for inclusive resilience.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to extend my appreciation for giving this opportunity of having this chance of explaining what I feel about the hate speech. ICCEHS is doing a good job, and I'm very happy to participate in this launching. This committee is good that is launching now because it's the right time. Any delay from now, it could cause more harm than good. So thank you very much. In recent years, the world has witnessed new waves of violent extremism and have taken the lives of many innocent people in the world. Whether based on religious, ethnic, or political grounds, extremists and ideologies glorify the supremacy of a particular group and oppose a more tolerant and inclusive society. This poses two distinct but related to challenges for contemporary societies. The rise of violent extremism and its spread across national borders and the governance of increasingly diverse and multicultural societies. While violent extremism requires intervention to protect the security of people and assets, Prevention of violent extremism needs to look beyond strict security concerns to development. We leaders, politicians, or any type of leaders, we like to give speeches, but it's very important to be cautious. Whatever speech you give, when it goes out, you can't get it back, and you cannot erase it. You cannot cancel. The speech has gone, and it can be emotionally taken by the people who are listening your speeches. So we must be very carefully delivering speech. We must not be emotional. We must deliver a speech which can create love and not hate. And this will reduce conflicts, will reduce war. Drivers of violent extremism, the root cause of violent and extremism are complex and intertwined, related to the structure or structural environment in which radicalization and possibly violent extremism can start to take hold. Violent extremism is the product of historical, political, economical, and social circumstances, including the impact of regional and global power politics. Growing horizontal inequalities are one of the consistently cited drivers of violent extremism. Critically, unemployment or poverty alone is not the only push factor inciting violence and extremism. Perception of injustice, human rights violation, social political exclusion, widespread corruption or sustained in mainstream of certain groups are also considered important push factors. When all these horizontal inequalities come together for a particular group, radical movements and violence are more likely to erupt. A state's failure to provide basic rights, services, and security not only contribute to growing inequality, it also creates a vacuum that allows non-state actors to take control over state sovereignty and territory. The banalization of violence through its daily projection and consumption via media, books, movies, magazines, video games, etc., should not be ignored at all as a contributor to the rise in violent behavior. Promoting gender equality and women's empowerment, and also engaging youth in building social cohesion. Youth here in Africa or in our country, the youth population is very high, and we need to encourage our youth. They must be given chance to participate in social cohesion. Working with faith-based organizations is very important, and religious leaders to counter the abuse of religion by violence extremism. We should not use our religion to ignite war, to ignite hate. We should use our religions to create love and not hate. Working with the media to promote human rights and tolerance. Tolerance is very, very important. If we create a nature or a behavior of tolerance and patience, we should be very patient. By doing so, we'll create a new world without hatred, without wars, without any damages, and a lot of distractions in our world.
That was great. We're pleased to introduce His Excellency Ceyhun Mamadov, member of the Milli Majlis of the Republic of Azerbaijan, a dedicated public servant and strong voice for peace building. Dr. Mamadov emphasizes the importance of parliamentary cooperation in global counter-extremism efforts.
Hörmətli komitə üzvləri, dəyərli dostlar, hər birinizi Azərbaycandan salamlayıram. Bugün dünyamız heç zaman olmadığı qədər gərgin və mürəkkəb bir dövrə və mərhələyə daxil oldu. Bugün dünyamız çox ciddi təhlükələrlə və təhdidlərlə üz-üzədir. Və bugün dünyamız heç zaman olmadığı qədər xoş sözə möhtacdır. Və bugün dünyamızda daha çox sevgiyə, daha çox diqqətə, insanların bir-birinə xoş münasibətə ehtiyacı var. Bugün qeyd etdiyimiz kimi dünyamızda gərginlik ocaqlarının sayı artır, müharibələrin sayı artır və təəssüf ki, getdikcə insanların daha çox kəskin ifadələrdən bir-birinə qarşı istifadə etdiyinin şahidi olur. Və biz bir çox hallarda münaqişələrin, fikir ayrılıqların, ixtilafların əsas səbəbinin bir-birinə qarşı istifadə olunan ifadələr olduğunu görürük. Yəni, söhbət kəskin ifadədən, radikal fikirlərdən, bir-birinə qarşı səsləndirilən, xoş olmayan fikirlərdən gedir. Bizim hər birimiz çalışmalıyıq ki, insanlarla münasibətimizdə yalnız xoş sözlərdən istifadə edək. Bunu bizə bütün səmavi dinlər də təlqin edir ki, hər birimiz istifadə etdiyimiz ifadələrdə, cümlələrdə çox diqqətli olmalıyıq. Və bilməliyik ki, bu ifadələr, bu cümlələr dövlətlər, xalqlar, ölkələr arasında gərginliyi daha da artırır və dünyamıza yaxşı heç nə vəd etmir. Və bugün bir daha onun üzərində xüsusi dururuq ki, hər birimiz bu cür ifadələrdən, bu cür cümlələrdən, bir-birinə qarşı sərt ritorikadan, sərt üslubdan çəkinməliyik. Çünki bugün bizim dünyamızın daha çox sülhə, daha çox xoş sözə və daha çox birgə yaşayışa ehtiyacı var. Və bugün bizim hər birimiz hansı ölkədə, hansı dövlətdə olmağımızdan asılı olmayaraq bu prosesə töhfə verməliyik. Çünki bizim hamımız bir gəmidə yaşayırıq. Bizim hamımızın vahid evi var, o da yer kürəsidir. Gəlin, bu yer kürəsini qarşı durmalardan, bir-birinə qarşı kobud ifadələrdən, kobud üslublardan qoruyaq və çalışaq ki, insanlarla yalnız xoş rəftar edək. Və o mənada mən düşünürəm ki, bugün ilk toplantısına toplaşdığımız bu komitənin fəaliyyəti çox önəmlidir. Mən inanıram ki, biz bir yerdə, dünyada bu prosesə öz töhfəmizi verməyə nail olacağıq. Bugün bizim insanlar arasında davamlı təbliğat aparmağa, insanlarla davamlı ünsiyyətdə olmağımıza ehtiyac var. Hər birimiz çalışmalıyıq ki, xoş sözləri yayaq, bir-birimizə qarşı xoş ifadələri yayaq və xoş ifadələri yayaraq dünyamızın sülh və əmin-amanlıq içində olmasına öz töhfəmizi verək. Mən inanıram ki, hər birimiz bu prosesə öz töhfəsini verəcək və dünyamızın xoşbəxt gələcəyi üçün hamımız bir yerdə səy göstərəcəyik. Bir daha hər birinizi salamlayıram, işlərinizdə uğurlar arzulayıram.
Now, let us turn to the Republic of Togo, where His Excellency Senator Adrien Akwete stands as a voice for Pan-African solidarity and human dignity. His message reflects a vision for intercontinental collaboration and a unified stand against hate-fueled narratives.
Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Adrien Akwete, je suis togolais. Je voudrais tout simplement rappeler deux choses. La première, les Africains, toutes tendances confondues, de tous les pays, avaient leur religion traditionnelle avant la colonisation. Et cette religion traditionnelle répondait directement à Dieu suprême. Et cette religion traditionnelle prônait la paix, le vivre ensemble et la cohésion sociale. Après l'arrivée de la religion, ou bien des religions occidentales, nous avons su qu'il y a eu des croisades pour imposer certaines religions aux gens. C'est ce qui a entraîné des incompréhensions, c'est ce qui a entraîné des guerres religieuses en Afrique, comme cela se passe aujourd'hui dans certains pays de l'Afrique et dans certains pays du monde. Personne ne comprend que nous sommes tous sous la coupole de Dieu suprême, de Dieu d'Abraham, et que pour le même Dieu, nous nous entretenons. Personne ne comprend en Afrique. Pour vénérer, pour prier le Dieu, le seul et unique, nous nous entretuons à coups de hache, on se décapite. Les Africains ne le comprennent pas. C'est pour cela que pour nous, nous devons tout faire pour que le dialogue interreligieux réussisse dans le monde. Que le dialogue interreligieux pousse les hommes de Dieu à comprendre que nous n'avons qu'un seul Dieu, pas plusieurs. Quel que soit ce que nous prônons, nous n'avons qu'un seul Dieu. C'est pour cela que nous lançons un appel à tous ceux qui se permettent de faire croire que leur Dieu est bon par rapport au Dieu des autres, qu'ils se trompent, qu'on n'a qu'un seul Dieu qui gouverne le monde entier et que ce Dieu est un Dieu d'amour du prochain, de tolérance, de paix et de cohésion sociale. Notre lutte doit contribuer à éradiquer dans le monde entier cet extrémisme violent qui ne permet pas de comprendre que la religion est faite pour relier les hommes, que la religion est faite pour l'amour entre les hommes. Voilà un peu ce que nous pouvons dire, à propos de l'extrémisme violent que nous tous nous combattons et que nous regrettons entre les hommes aujourd'hui. Je voudrais ici saluer le comité international qui se bat, qui invite les gens à se reprendre, à faire en sorte que la religion soit un trait d'union entre tous les hommes du monde entier. Je voudrais les féliciter et je voudrais les encourager à continuer ce combat avec tous ceux qui sont prêts à écouter le discours de l'apaisement.
Next, we hear from His Excellency Stefan Schanak, Member of Parliament of the Republic of Austria, a prominent voice in the European political landscape. Professor Schanak shares thoughtful reflections on democratic responsibility and media ethics.
Hello, my friends. I'm happy to be with you online today in this way, that I can send you a message. I think your conference is very, very important because fake news are going on and divided our society everywhere, and we have to fight against fake news, against hate speeches. Wherever we have to act in politics, and so many misinformation are around the world, and too much hate is in the world. We have different wars, and those who are behind the wars, if this is in Gaza, if this is in Ukraine, a lot of trolls are producing misunderstanding messages to bring us away from working together, bring us away from peace and partnership. And I think what you are doing to fight together against fake news, against hate speeches is so important, and I can only support you. And also in the Council of Europe, it was in the last 10 years one of my most important work to fight against fake news and hate speeches. And I also will greet the committee, this really important committee, and I hope that the public knows more about this important committee. and you should be successful for us and for the future of our society. It's important that this committee is existing, and I congratulate to all which are supporting this committee.
Joining us from Morocco is Mr. Kamal Lahbib, Executive Secretary of the Forum of Alternatives. With decades of experience in civil society movements, Mr. Lahbib provides a grassroots perspective on the role of civic engagement in countering extremist ideologies.
شكرا على الدعوة، لا سيما وأن الأوضاع الآن فيما يخص التطرف والعنف أصبح مشكلتين خطيرتين على الكوكب كله. فهناك حروب، ولا يمكن أن نغفل ما يقع من مجازر في غزة، ولا حرب أوكرانيا، ولا الحروب التي نشهدها في إفريقيا جنوب الصحراء، ولا فيما يخص كل ما يتعلق بالنزاعات التي تهدد بالعنف والتسلح والسلاح بين عدة دول، سواء كان الأمر متعلق بالديانات أو العنصرية نظرا للون، أو عنصرية نظرا للغة، أو عنصرية تجاه الفئات المهمشة. وطبعا هناك كذلك عنف وخطاب عنف ضد النساء وضد المهاجرين على الأرض كلها. فإذا أظن بأنه من المفروض ومن الواجب ومن مسؤوليتنا، مسؤوليتكم ومسؤوليات المجتمع ومسؤوليات الدول والحكام داخل البلاد كيفما كان تواجدهم، أن يفتحوا الحوار وأن يفتحوا إمكانيات مواجهة هذه الظاهرة الخطيرة التي نعيشها الآن على الصعيد العالمي. فمن المفروض أن يتم تربية الناس، تربية الناشئة، تربية وأساساً وضع آليات أولاً دولية للوقوف ضد هذا الاتجاه الخطير، ووضع آليات ديمقراطية داخل البلدان التي نعيش فيها والتي ترى أشكالاً من العنف خطيرة جداً. فطبعاً مسؤوليتنا نحن كمجتمع مدني وهو أن نساهم في تقوية الوعي وفي تربية الناس وفي تحسيس الشباب بالخصوص الذين يستغلون كذلك كل الفضاءات الاجتماعية للدفع بنقاش ومصطلحات واتهامات خطيرة تؤدي إلى علاقات عنف في داخل العائلات. وكذلك أن نكون واقفين وقفة موحدة مع الحكام داخل بلداننا من أجل تمكين المجتمع من الآليات الديمقراطية لمواجهة هذه التوجهات العنيفة والخطابات كراهية، سواء كانت مبنية على الدين أو على الجنس أو على اللغة. فإذا أظن بأنه مهمتكم لتشبيك المجتمع المدني والوقوف من أجل فرض هذه التوجهات وهذه المسؤوليات الدولية وداخل الحكومات وداخل المجتمع مسألة أساسية. أود بالمناسبة أن أشكر اللجنة الدولية لمكافحة خطاب التطرف والكراهية على هذه المبادرة، وأتمنى أن تستمر في عملها في التشبيك في تقوية التحالفات عبر العالم من أجل مواجهة هذا الخطاب، خطاب التطرف والكراهية، وأن نعمل سويا على بناء مجتمع ديمقراطي يعترف بالتمييز بين الناس وبين الأفكار وبين الديانات. فأتمنى لكم التوفيق وأشكركم جزيل الشكر على إتاحة هذه الفرصة للكلام على هذا الموضوع الخطير الذي ينخر المجتمعات على الصعيد العالمي.
And now we welcome the Honorable Mohammed Al-Arusi, member of the House of People's Representatives of Ethiopia. His perspective underscores the crucial role of national parliaments in shaping inclusive policies that stand against hate speech and promote unity.
تحية طيبة. إن الكلمة القاسية تجرح القلوب، وكلكم تعلمون أن حرب البسوس والعديد من الحروب التاريخية التي تركت جروحا عميقة في التاريخ كانت بسبب خطابات الكراهية التي تثير النفوس، مما ينتج عن هذه الخطابات مشاكل عدة لا تقتصر على الجانب الأمني بل تتعدى ذلك. وإذا لم تتم السيطرة على هذه الخطابات ومكافحتها بالوعي الدولي وكذلك الحملات التوعوية، إن هذه الظاهرة العالمية التي تهدد العالم بأسره، ظاهرة خطابات الكراهية، الخطابات المتطرفة، هي ظاهرة تهدد المجتمعات، هي آفة للشعوب، هي تزرع بذور الشقاق وتدمر الأوطان، لأن هناك حربا على الكلمة. إن الكلام الذي نقوله له تأثير كبير على القلوب، والكلمة الطيبة فضلا إلى جانب كونها صدقة فإنها تترك آثارا طيبة على المجتمعات. فإذا ما التزم الكل بهذه النبرة التي تدعو إلى التسامح ونشر السلام وتعزيز الوعي المجتمعي لهذه الدول، فإن هذا الدور يتلاشى شيئا فشيئا، وتدفع ثمن ذلك الشعوب التي تعاني من هذه الصراعات العبثية. وعلاج ذلك كله الحوار، التسامح، ونشر الخطابات التي تدعو إلى السلام، إلى السلم، وتعزز السلم والأمن والاستقرار الدولي. الإنسانية لغة مشتركة بين الشعوب والدول. علينا ألا نفرق بين الأفراد بأديانهم، بمعتقداتهم، بلغاتهم، بألوانهم، لأننا نشترك في لغة أعمق وأوسع وأشمل، ألا وهي لغة الإنسانية التي ينبغي أن نعززها في مجتمعاتنا، لأن الجميع من حقهم أن يعيشوا في سلام واستقرار وتعايش. الإنسان لا يجب أن يتعرض لتمييز عنصري لدينه ومعتقده وفكره ورأيه، فهو حر فيما يتعلق بينه وبين ما يعتقد. إنما علينا أن نعزز اللغة الإنسانية التي نتوافق عليها جميعا، نعزز للحوار والتفاهم والتكاتف في القضايا المشتركة. أغلب الحروب التي وقعت أو لا تزال تنشب مشكلتها أنها لم تجد بيئة آمنة قبل أن تصل إلى ما وصلت إليه، بيئة آمنة للحوار وإصلاح كافة الأخطاء عبر هذه المحاولات. أبارك انطلاق هذه اللجنة الدولية لمكافحة خطاب الكراهية والتطرف، ونبارك هذا الانطلاق. نشد على أيدي القائمين على هذه اللجنة الدولية. علينا التكاتف والوحدة والاتحاد لمكافحة هذه الآفة التي تنتشر في العديد من دول العالم. إذا أردنا سلاما وبلادا مستقرة آمنة، يقتضي ذلك أن نكافح كل ما من شأنه كراهية الآخرين. عندما يكون الاختلاف فالحوار هو العلاج الأمثل لكافة القضايا. في ظل تعالي أصوات الكراهية وخطابات الكراهية والتطرف، بدأت اللجنة الدولية لمكافحة التطرف وخطاب الكراهية أعمالها. تهدف هذه الجمعية والقائمون عليها إلى مكافحة هذه الخطابات التي تتعلق بالكراهية التي تشعل الحروب والفتن. هنيئا لنا انطلاق اللجنة الدولية لمكافحة خطاب الكراهية، وهي خطوة دولية مهمة لتحقيق أو لتعزيز السلم والأمن الدوليين. تحقق هذه المبادرة الكثير من الأهداف، بل تسعى إلى تحقيق هذه الأهداف، ومن أهم الأهداف استتباب السلام والأمن. شكرا لكم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
We are now honored to welcome His Excellency Dr. Salim Al-Sayegh, Member of Parliament from the Republic of Lebanon. A prominent figure in Lebanese and regional politics, Dr. Al-Sayegh brings to this platform decades of experience in promoting democratic values, civil liberties, and cross-cultural understanding. His perspective is especially vital in today's polarized climate, where dialogue and dignity must triumph over division.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a duty to address you today at the launch of this important initiative, one that resonates deeply with the urgent challenges facing our world and our region. Across the globe, we are witnessing a dangerous rise in extremist rhetoric and hate speech. Whether online or offline, such discourse does not occur in a vacuum. It sows seeds of mistrust, fuels division, and too often serves as a prelude to violence. As a Lebanese parliamentarian and a focal point of the PAM, I speak from the lived experience of a nation that has endured the tragic consequences of civil strife, conflicts that were often inflamed by the toxic narratives, sectarian language, and dehumanizing speech. This is why I stand before you today to reaffirm the urgent importance of countering extremist and hate speech, not only as a matter of policy or security, but as a moral imperative. Words can build bridges, or they can burn them. We must choose wisely. But countering hate is not enough on its own. We must go further. We must cultivate the conditions for tolerance, for constructive dialogue, and for peaceful coexistence. These are not abstract ideals. They are the foundation of resilient, pluralistic societies. They are the pillars upon which democratic life is built. In Lebanon, despite our many challenges, we continue to believe in the power of dialogue. We continue to strive through parliament, through civil society, and through education to build a nation that recognizes diversity not as a threat, but as a strength. The struggle is ongoing, but it is one we must never abandon. In this context, the promotion of responsible and ethical speech becomes more than a personal virtue. It becomes a public duty. We must educate younger generation, empower media platforms, and hold ourselves accountable to a higher standard of discourse. What we say shapes what we believe, and what we believe determines how we act. And we need to act individually as much as we need to act collectively. Here, dialogue becomes not just an activity, it becomes a state of mind, it becomes a way of life. As leader, We must be the first to reject, as leaders, we must be the first to reject inflammatory rhetoric. We must be the first to protect the dignity of others. And we must be the first to extend a hand in dialogue, even when disagreement is tough. In closing, allow me to extend my warmest congratulations on the official launch of this vital initiative. It is a timely and commendable effort, and it gives us all hope that another path is possible, a path where words are used to unite, not divide, to inspire, not incite, to heal, not to harm. May this be the beginning of a stronger global movement toward peace, mutual respect, and shared humanity. Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I am feeling extremely inspired after listening to all of those speakers. We will now open the floor for our interactive Q&A session, an opportunity for all participants to contribute to this important dialogue. Your insights, reflections, and questions are not only welcomed, but encouraged. Your engagement is essential to shaping the collective momentum behind ICCEHS and advancing its mission to counter extremist and hate speech through global cooperation. Let us begin with our first question. What are the most urgent forms of extremist or hate speech that ICCEHS is currently prioritizing in its global strategy? Dr. Nidal, Honorable Gennaro, I don't know who wants to take that question, but please go ahead.
I try to answer to this question because it's a crucial question in this moment. We want to promote a real positive way to face this horrible phenomenon of the hate speech, in the sense that our activity is aim is to promote the dialogue first of all. That's why we want to make some sense. We don't want to fight hate speech with a censor or a very conflicting words, because words of dialogue, of mutual understanding in this moment are necessary. It seems that this kind of words are weak, but the kind of word that can be very kind, as in the previous speech are explained by several members of our supporters, are fundamental. And for that, our priority is to sit on the table, virtual on a real table, people that generally don't speak each other or don't want to have a mutual understanding. That's why we want to promote this kind of seminar, and we want to promote the logo of Free from Hate Speech. Of course, we know that all over the world are fighting, are conflict. There were some activities also with the new technologies that are able to promote hate speech, sometimes also with hidden people that promote this kind of hate speech. But we want exactly to promote this kind of activity, preventing all the misusing of the words. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is, how does ICCEHS plan to collaborate with national governments and parliaments to implement its recommendations on the ground? Dr. Taras, would you like to answer this question for us?
Well, in the past I worked as an advisor to the City Council to the city mayor for religious issues. And actually, working between religion and politics is very exciting and interesting because you need to balance, if you talk to a politician, you talk in one way, but if you talk to a religious person or religious leader, it's different. In many countries, religion is separated from the state, but in some countries it's the same. So it's just the art of balancing of how you approach, both religious leaders, but also politicians. And I'm sure there are many different examples of how you talk to the states and governments. And I think among us in this group, we have people who have that experience. And I'm sure that we'll be able to succeed, when we have the right people who are knowledgeable, who are experts in the field. And that's what it takes: the commitment, the passion, and expertise.
Thank you, Dr. Taras. The next question is, what role does ICCEHS envision for young people and educational systems in preventing the spread of hate speech? Dr. Nidal, will you take this one?
Thank you, Julie, again. Youth are the future. So as we are working all together for a better future with less of hate, less of extremism, I think on the educational system is very important, to promote tolerance, to promote dialogue. Here we go back to our golden triangle. So it's very important, to have, I think, we should launch a very important program about that. I think it's very important everywhere, because really, as a human, we should accept each other's. We should love each other. We should have a lot of tolerance toward each other. So that's why I think it's a huge project, and I think we should think about it with our partners to have a special project, educational project regarding this, because it's right. I think promoting this kind of habits, which is this kind of human habits, it's very important from an earlier age than a later age. So I think in the few upcoming weeks, as you all know, we have just been started. So we've launched for 3 programs, but it doesn't mean that we will only work on these 3 programs. So we are open to have other programs. In the future, I think we will discuss seriously this important project with our partner to do an educational system. Maybe we can urge governments and to put it as a part of the civil education, for earlier classes.
If I may add over here that, in the past few months, together with Dr. Nidal and with the Honorable Gennaro, we talked about, possible programs, and we hope to launch this educational program to engage youth, because, youth are very vulnerable, but youth are also flexible in the way they learn, they educate. So forming the young emerging leaders in interfaith, interreligious, or intercultural dialogue is so important. And tomorrow, as was already mentioned, we're having our first event, in the Vatican, and we'll have about 30 young religious leaders who come together to listen about hope, about intercultural and interreligious dialogue. So this is just the first activity that we already have tomorrow.
Sorry, Julie, I just will come back for a small point. Actually, our program, especially the International Pact, Communication Pact, Positive Communication Pact, the main objective is, to have a responsible speech, a responsible discourse. And I think in that way as well, we can, because you have 2 things, to protect youth. First of them, to give them the good example. So I think this is what we are trying now. And as Dr. Taras said, we'll be working in the future on to go more in educational level, in depth for educational level of program. Thank you.
Okay, next question. How does ICCEHS balance the fight against hate speech with the protection of freedom of expression and open discourse?
Let me say something about it, because it's the problem is anytime to have a balancing between hate speech, contrasting hate speech, and to promote the free speech. If we connect our attention, first of all, on promoting, on countering who promotes the violence, is easier. Because you can say that you are disagree with some opinion, but if you promote against another opinion, a dehumanization and an incitement to the violence, it's totally different. To promote this kind of free speech, of course, we want to promote the dialogue, because in dialogue can be also shared different opinions. I can have a very strong different opinion on some issues, especially very sensitive matters, but the problem that we face in this moment all over the world is that people take this speech of extremist speech and hate speech against the others. The problem is how to promote the dialogue to avoid that the free speech can turn in an hate speech. This is the attitude. Of course, we are against all the control of the speeches, especially if in some countries this is forbidden for anti-democratic reason. We are very open and promoting the peaceful debate and discussion. That's why our idea of free speech is also free from hate speech. It's not only free speech that I can say some violent things against someone else. It's not, in this case, a free speech. It's a violent free speech.
Okay, great. I just want to reiterate one more time that these questions are coming from our participants in this launching event. We do have a question from Ashraf Djanin, and it is for Dr. Nidal. In your strategy, is there a deliberate investment in cultural initiatives, such as arts, films, or storytelling, particularly in the MENA region, as tools for long-term resilience against extremist narratives?
Thank you, Julie. Actually, we'll be working worldwide. Okay, we will have, I think, more than 12 working groups. So right now we are coordinating with our partners in many regions around the world. So we'll have around 12 working groups. And a good number of them in the MENA region, because as you all know, the MENA region, it suffers from a lot of problem and a lot of conflicts in this region. So we'll be working a lot with our partners. We will be looking in the next few months to have an international office in the MENA region. So we are looking right now for a hosting country. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have an office, a regional office in the MENA region, so we can work together globally. I want to go back to our strategy of working, especially for that. Actually, we try to change, not to be changed. So even if there is, some people that they use hate speech, we don't do like them. So we don't use the same method as they do. So we have another we have another method. We want to try. We want to change. We don't want to be affected by these. So that's why we work on promoting tolerance, promoting peace, and another thing which is very important, that we work on classification. We give Julie, each one of us has the choice to choose what kind of content he can choose. That's why Gennaro, he was talking a lot about, about this banner or something that free of hate speech, because I think people, they have the right to choose. For example, if we talk about media, that they have, we are against banning. So we don't ask to ban a group, to ban, no. But it's very important that if you are free of hate speech, that should be rewarded, okay? And all people, that they should know that you are a good channel of communication. And the same as well, if you are using extremist and hate speech, all people should know that. And after that, if they want to decide that they want to watch that, it's their own problem. This is related. But for us, we don't believe in banning. So that's why, as I told you, we are trying a lot to have a lot of work, especially in the MENA region and in a lot of areas all over the world. I insist we are trying, I think by the end of the year, I hope that we will open our regional office in the MENA region. And we will as well working with working groups in different countries, from Jordan, from Iraq, from Lebanon, from everywhere in the Middle East, to work together and to counter together this issue. Thank you, Julie.
So I'm going to continue with another question. I think this is a great question. Can you elaborate on the committee's long-term vision? What success would look like 5 years from now? Who would like to take that question?
I think we will all answer it. It's important to change from now, from this moment. So our most important thing that we are really looking for is to reduce as much as we can the extremist and hate speech via 4 levels: media, social media, governments and politicians, and also international relations. So hopefully, if we can do a good job and do good campaigns and successful project from now to 5 years, I hopefully that we will achieve our goal, or part of our objective, because this is not just a part-time objective, it's a long-term objective. And for me, it will be very successful if we can really give the people the choice to decide, okay, to classify what can they choose for content, what kind of content they can choose. I think this is very important, and if we can do it in 5 years, I think this would be a very huge success for us.
May I add only one thing? Because sometimes it used to be that what happens is only words. We want to make a difference. We want to make difference in this moment, because there is not only word, there is a very sensitive issue, and we can try to change this kind of attitude of the people. In my opinion, the long time success of this committee is related immediately to which kind of effect we will have on the young people through the education, and to the leaders that wants to join us, for example, members that have responsibility in media, in parliaments, and so on. The committee can be, through the campaign, through the seminars, a point of reference for a lot of people. Now we start with a very important number of people, some hundreds, but we are sure that at the end of this year, we are talking about 1,000 people that can join us. That's our goal, to make some network where in each place, in every country, the member of this committee promote the same ideas in a connection, saying we are not alone. We are really a team. We are a committee. We are a community of people that want to free from hate speech.
Here is a question. I don't know who it's from, but the question is, we are facing an extremely challenging time in the Western world where we have witnessed violent people taking street power to try to undermine the democratic values in the name of religious supremacy. How can the ICCEHS address religious-based hateful narratives possessed among the Western Muslims against the democratic nations?
Yeah, if you want, I can take this question since I've been working with a lot of religious leaders. And you know, today it's easy to weaponize anything. You can weaponize education, you can weaponize religion, and it becomes a weapon, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to work with religious leaders, you know, so there is no extremism in their place. There is no fanatical approach to religions, because religion, it's something easily to be manipulated, because religion, you know, it touches the depths of your heart. So that's why young people are so vulnerable. And again, working on educational initiatives, working with emerging religious leaders, and with young people, I think that's the way to eradicate hate, extremism, and radicalism.
Does anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, please. If I want as well to say hi to our friend Noor from Great Britain, who asked this question. Noor, we believe really to have alternative narrative. As I told you, it's a matter of choice. So if there is, I know we've been working a lot against, that people that they are trading with the religious speeches and religious, this, especially we've talked about political Islam and this kind of stuff. I think the best way is really to have, because these are ideologies. So ideologies, they should be faced by other ideologies. Narrative should be faced by other narratives. So I think we should work a lot to have a huge amount of positive and, constructive narrative in order to make this hate or bad narrative disappears. Banning is not a solution. Okay, banning is not a solution, I think, for us. For us, I think we should really have the alternative and to work and, to put, there is a bad thought, you should put a good thought in front of it. Gennaro, you want to add something about that?
Yes, please, because I am absolutely in agreement with Taras and Nidal. We need an alternative narrative. We need to put on the table, put in face of people that misuse the religion, because the message of the religion, all the Abrahamic and traditional religions from everywhere are peaceful. But some people use the religion to undermine not only democratic values, but the different believers. And I guess that it is a problem that we can face with dialogue. Dialogue not means to ban or to cancel these people, because it's an hard work, but I guess that is the right way to face also the threats. We can use some activities. It's not our task to, for example, denounce to the authority when this kind of misuse became a violent activity, because it's the task of the force of the state. But our task is to promote dialogue, to prevent, to avoid that people can be fascinated by this kind of narrative. We can offer another narrative. This is our aim and our choice.
Julie, I think there is just a last question from Hagop. He is asking about the valuable he's talking our organization in Armenia works closely with communities affected by the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, particularly in post-conflict and high-tension areas. How can we align our local counter-narrative programs with the ICCEHS framework to effectively build community resilience against hate speech and extremist rhetoric, especially during periods of renewed conflict or political instability? This is a question from Armenia, from Dr. Agop Makadis. You want to answer that, Janero or Taras?
I can try to answer. First of all, my personal opinion, I was involved several times for to promote the diplomatic dialogue, and I have the experience of Parliamentary Assembly of Mediterranean, because I was president of this Parliamentary Assembly. In this assembly, we had at the same table every time two vice presidents, one from Israel and one from Palestine. I want to explain that, for example, the work that we did with the Parliamentary Assembly is quite similar. Our job is not only on parliamentarian side, but on parliamentarian side, we face anytime we face some controversies, mutual accuses between different groups, and especially between Palestinians and Israel, even because, the tragic terrorist attack from Hamas, and after the tragic response of government from Netanyahu to Gaza, it's very harsh. That's why we can have the same approach. First of all, we put on the same table the people that generally don't speak each other, don't talk each other. And for that reason, we are useful. We don't and we can't solve the political or conflict problems. We can use our network, our committee, to join people also out of the official meetings, out of diplomatic between governments that, for example, are not able to talk each other. We have to promote this kind of parallel diplomacy, and I trust a lot on this kind of activity. Even the interreligious dialogue is a parallel diplomacy. It's not made by states, but by religious and prestigious leaders that have moral importance in their field. That's our aim. This is our ambition, to have a reputation can be used also to make dialogues among people that are not used to be in dialogue among them.
And Hagop, if you permit me to add something, Janero, I think I think it's very important to work on the to reduce tension. So I think if we can work together, Hagop, from both sides to reduce the unresponsible speeches, I think the situation would be better for, the conditions would be better for a better dialogue between two parties. I think, this agreement, it's normal in our life, but, to this agreement turn into conflicts and wars, this is not acceptable. And I think it's mainly related for an extremist and the hate speech. So if we can reduce that, I think we can do a base, a kind of base for a kind of hopefully successful dialogue that might lead for a peace. I hope that we responded to your question, Agop. Thank you.
And this concludes the official launch of the International Committee of Countering Extremist and Hate Speech. Thank you all so much for your presence, your engagement, and your support. Let this be the beginning of a global movement grounded in dignity, peace, and the language of humanity. Thank you so much.